Hi, and welcome to Lessons with Cameron. In this video, we're going to expand on an idea from our last talk about what is an electric guitar. Today we're going to go ahead and focus on what's the difference between a guitar that say costs a couple $100 to a guitar that might be costing a couple thousand or many thousand depending on what you're looking at. So we're going to start at the bottom with this guy. So the guitars I have here today range from this, which was one of my earliest guitars. I paid about $200 for it. It's a BC Rich Warlock, and there's not much to it. The other guitars in the mix are going to be the Minarik Lotus, which is about a $600 guitar, give or take. Then we're going to move up to an American-made Fender Telecaster. Now we're talking about $1,400. This one's got the ash body. We can talk about that a little bit later in another video. Then we're going to move on to a Gibson Les Paul made in the US. It's a Les Paul Traditional from 2012. And then we're going to move on to, lastly, a custom guitar, which is the Minarik Medusa. That one's hand-built, custom-made, and if you can't tell the difference, then you don't need it. I'm going to play you the same bits on each one so that you can hear them all individually, and then we're going to squish it all together so you can hear the whole thing together. So this first one is going to be a clean check on the BC Rich Warlock. This is a Platinum Series. This is a less expensive import guitar. And it's been through it. It still works for the most part. So we're going to give it a little play test. So this is what it sounds like. I'm going to go with the neck pickup on the clean channel because it's just my personal preference, so you can get a chance to hear it, how that sounds. So here's the part. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with some drive. I'm going to switch it to the bridge pickup because I like a lot of bite. And that pretty much covers the sounds that we're going to pull out of this guy as far as the clean and the dirty. A couple notes by themselves. So at this point we're looking at about, this one cost me $200. I got it on sale because it was this tremendous pink color and they really wanted to get rid of it, so they made me a deal I couldn't really refuse. And there's more on this guitar and this backstory with all these stickers on this other video. So we're going to step up to the next level now. At this point, this would be your entry-level guitar. It's about on par with anything you're going to get as far as those little kind of import $400-ish range. Say you're getting a Schecter, stuff like that. And I know Schecters are built a little bit better now than that guy is. This here is the Minarik Lotus, and now we're going to bump it up to about the $600 range. This is, in my opinion, one of the better guitars under $1,000, which is a pretty big statement to make considering I've put it up against just about every guitar I own. When I go on tour, I actually take one of these with me, even though there's better guitars theoretically here. So here we go. I'm going to play the same licks on this guy. You've got the same set of double humbucking pickups, though they're definitely not the same pickups. A little bit different on the controls. Again, if you want to know more about the Minarik Lotus, check out the video link up here. So here's the same bits. Back through with some distortion. Alright, this next guitar that we're going to look at is the Fender American Telecaster with a ash body. It's a little bit heavier and a little bit pricier than the American Standard. Comes with a little bit extra tone, a little bit extra weight. This guitar was my workhorse from probably about, I'd say, 99 till about 2007. So I put about 8 years with this guitar front and center the whole time. And here it is, clean, same setup. And the same lick with the distortion. So now the retail on this guy when I bought him was about $1,450. So we've started at the $200 range, jumped up to $6. We just hit 14. Now an American Standard is going to sound really similar. It's just going to be a little short on the bass. All right, so this next one we're going to look at is the Gibson Les Paul Traditional. This is a 2012 Traditional. It's got a little bit of weight relief inside, so it weighs just a little less than your regular Standard. Otherwise, it's pretty much a standard setup. It's got some 57 classics. You want to know more about this guitar, check out the video here. Or look down below in the links provided. So I'm going to play these parts on this guy and see what a Gibson Les Paul sounds like running through this same setup. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some distortion. And all that is about $3,300 list price. You can save a bunch on the street price because these typically go for a little bit less. And we're going to move on now to the last guitar on the mix. This would be a custom Minarik Medusa. This is number 2. I think they've made about 10 of these at this point. They might have made a couple more as far as out of the custom shop. They do have an import line of guitars that are pretty darn good. And they are a step up above here from the Lotuses, though I think the Lotuses are fantastic. They're much like their Inferno series, which I will also go ahead and pull one of those out for you at some point here. So this guy is neck through and a whole bunch of other fantastic things. You can go ahead and check out his video here. This, or her I should say, this guitar is just a wonderful instrument. And it's a lot more than just a pretty face. So let's give it a listen and see what the difference is. We're going to add some distortion, switch over to the bridge pickup, and here we go. you can see, as you go and spend more and more, the sound definitely changes. Whether it changes for the better or for the worse, that's up to you. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and listen to all these guitars back to back. We're going to present it for you here, doing each of the same bits, kind of one followed right after the other, and you can hear the difference. The trick is, once you get up to that $1,000 mark, any guitar will do any job. It's just some are more geared towards certain sounds than others. So if I'm playing a blues session, I might want to grab my Telecaster. If I'm playing a rock and roll session, I'll probably want to grab the Les Paul. And in this guitar's case, no matter what session I'm playing, I make sure I bring this one, because no guitar I own is as easy to play, and it happens to just be so well balanced sonically that I can play it in just about any style and get away with it. That pretty much wraps it up. Remember, if you can't hear it, it's not worth spending it on, so listen close, make the call for yourself, because if you can't hear it, don't spend $6,000 because some guy said that's the way to go. It's all up to you. Today we have the guitars hooked up through the Mesa Boogie DC5 dual caliber 50 watt amp. It's got 2 channels. I went ahead and used the channels built into the board. The only thing I added was my own noise suppressor. So the Boss NS2, that was going in there just to kind of cut down on some of the buzz. If you've ever heard of the 60 cycle hum, that's a Fender thing. Kind of doesn't really belong to Fender, obviously, but Fenders have a tendency to be kind of noisy. So I include the noise suppressor at all times. Other than that, that was just the amp and the guitars directly. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you click to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.